Many people over 60 notice that mornings feel different than they used to. You wake up unsure why a name escaped you or why you walked into a room. That experience can feel scary, but it is far more common than anyone admits. During sleep, your brain is busy sorting information, strengthening useful connections, and clearing out waste from the previous day. When the body is tired, undernourished, or stressed, that overnight work can feel less efficient, leading to mental fog. This is not about your brain shrinking or losing huge numbers of cells, but about everyday chemistry working a little slower than it once did. These changes are not a personal failure or a sign that your best years are gone. They are simply signals that your brain may need gentler support, especially in the evening when it prepares for the next day. Understanding choline without the fear. Choline is a nutrient many people have never heard of, yet it quietly supports normal brain chemistry throughout life. Your body uses it to help produce acetylcholine, a messenger involved in memory, attention, learning, and muscle movement. And it also forms part of the structure of every cell membrane in your nervous system. When choline intake is low for long stretches, people sometimes describe feeling mentally tired, scattered, or less focused. Though this is not a disease and not a reason for alarm, choline naturally appears in foods such as eggs, fish, legumes, dairy, nuts, seeds, and whole grains, so it does not require specialty products or extreme diets to obtain. What matters is variety and regularity, not megadoses or expensive supplements. Including a few choline-containing foods across the week gently supports the systems your brain already uses to think, concentrate, and remember in daily life, helping you feel steadier and more confident about your mental abilities without turning nutrition into a source of pressure or fear. Why evening nutrition matters more than you think. Your brain does not rest when you sleep. It becomes active in a different way, sorting experiences, strengthening useful patterns, and clearing out byproducts from the day so that you wake feeling restored. That nightly work relies on steady nourishment, which is why evening habits matter more than most people realize. Skipping dinner, grazing on sugar-heavy snacks, or relying on ultra-processed foods may leave your brain underfueled during this critical overnight phase, and the result can feel like fog, low motivation, or sluggish thinking in the morning. This does not mean you should eat heavy meals late at night, but it does mean choosing light, balanced foods with protein, healthy fats, and real ingredients. Many people who shift their evening meals in this gentle way notice subtle changes such as waking with a clearer head or feeling less overwhelmed by simple tasks, reminding them that the brain responds quietly but reliably to thoughtful care. I see there's duck egg yolks as a traditional food choice. Eggs have nourished people for thousands of years, and duck eggs are simply a richer, slightly larger cousin to the chicken eggs most households already use. Their yolks provide protein, natural fats, and nutrients such as choline that contribute to normal nervous system function, which is why they remain a staple in many traditional diets around the world. Duck eggs are not medicine, and they do not restore memory, but for those who enjoy them, they can be a comforting and nutrient-dense food choice. Some people worry about cholesterol, yet moderate egg intake fits comfortably into a balanced eating pattern for many adults. One softly cooked yolk in the evening alongside vegetables or whole grains can feel deeply satisfying without being heavy. If duck eggs are unavailable or unfamiliar, chicken eggs serve the same basic role. What matters most is the habit of choosing whole foods your body recognizes and uses, building long-term nourishment rather than chasing quick fixes. How to enjoy eggs without stress. The way eggs are prepared often determines whether people enjoy them or avoid them altogether. Soft boiling or gently cooking the yolk keeps the texture smooth and easier to digest for many individuals, while overcooking can leave eggs rubbery and unappealing. Pairing eggs with vegetables, greens, or fiber-rich grains balances the meal and keeps it from feeling heavy late in the day. One yolk is usually enough in the evening, especially when combined with other foods. Meals should never feel like obligations or tests of discipline. If eggs are not appealing to you, there is no reason to force them into your routine. Long-term brain support comes from patterns you can maintain without resentment. When eating feels calm and enjoyable, digestion improves, stress hormones stay lower, and your body makes better use of the nutrients you consume, all of which quietly contribute to steadier mental energy over time. Cod roe and other seafood choices. Seafood has been prized across cultures not because it promised sharper memory, but because people noticed it made them feel nourished, resilient, and steady. Cod roe, the egg mass of codfish, is one such traditional food, offering protein, natural fats, and trace nutrients that support everyday nervous system function. Its flavor is unfamiliar to some, yet even small portions mixed with grains or vegetables can make it approachable. If cod roe is not available or appealing, fish such as salmon, sardines, trout, or mackerel provide similar nourishment through their natural fats and micronutrients. These foods are not treatments and they do not reverse illness, but they fit easily into a balanced diet that supports how your body works from day to day. Including seafood a few times each week is a realistic habit for many people and benefits not only mental clarity, but also circulation, heart health, and overall metabolic balance. Seafood and everyday mental steadiness. People who make seafood a normal part of their diet often describe the benefit not as a sudden surge of sharpness or an instant fix for forgetfulness, but as a quiet sense of steadiness that shows up in small but meaningful ways throughout the day, such as feeling less mentally drained in the late afternoon, staying more present during conversations without zoning out, or approaching ordinary responsibilities with a calmer state of mind instead of that familiar foggy overwhelm. These changes are easy to overlook because they do not announce themselves loudly, yet they improve daily life in ways that build confidence over time. Fish and shellfish also provide minerals such as iodine and selenium, which support metabolic processes that influence how energetic and clear-headed you feel, meaning that your brain is not working in isolation, but as part of your entire body's system. There is no need for large portions, expensive ingredients, or elaborate recipes. A modest piece of baked salmon with vegetables, a simple tuna salad, or a spoonful of sardines on toast is more than enough to keep the habit alive without stress. The real power comes from routine rather than intensity, because when seafood becomes something you expect to eat during the week instead of a special occasion food, it works quietly in the background, building a pattern of nourishment that supports your mind in the same gentle, reliable way that consistent sleep supports your mood and patience. Plant-based nutrition and soy lecithin. Not everyone eats eggs or fish, and no one should ever feel pressure to abandon personal beliefs, cultural traditions, or lifestyle choices in order to care for their brain, because plant-based diets can be deeply nourishing when they are varied, colorful, and satisfying rather than rigid or restrictive. One ingredient some people choose to include is soy lecithin, which is derived from soybeans and naturally contains phospholipids, such as phosphatidylcholine, compounds involved in the structure of cell membranes throughout the body, including those in the nervous system. But this does not make lecithin a medication, supplement substitute, or treatment for memory issues. It simply means it provides building blocks your body already knows how to use when they are present in the diet. Many people like lecithin because it has a mild taste and blends easily into smoothies, oatmeal, warm cereal, or even soups without changing the flavor of the meal. making it feel like a natural addition rather than something forced. If you decide to use it, think of it as one optional element in your broader food pattern instead of something powerful or necessary on its own, because it should never replace medical care, become a source of anxiety, or feel like a requirement you must meet every day, as the real foundation of brain support is not a single ingredient, but a relaxed, balanced relationship with food that fits your values, routines, and sense of enjoyment. Making plant-based choices feel natural. A plant-based way of eating works best when it feels abundant instead of limited, because the brain and body respond far better to nourishment that feels generous, colorful, and satisfying than to rules that feel punishing or restrictive. And this abundance can come from simple foods such as whole grains, beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, fruits, and vegetables, each offering different fibers, minerals, and naturally occurring compounds that support digestion, steady energy, and everyday mental clarity. Lecithin is only one optional piece in this much larger picture, and many people thrive without ever using it, while others enjoy it as part of their routine, with both approaches being equally valid as long as the overall diet feels balanced and enjoyable. What matters most is variety, because no single food contains everything the brain needs to function smoothly from day to day, and when meals look inviting and leave you feeling comfortably satisfied, you are far more likely to continue eating this way over the long term. This consistency is what supports lasting well-being, not a dramatic short-term change, and it helps you shift away from the idea that something is broken and needs fixing toward the understanding that you are simply creating an environment in which your brain can function with less strain, built slowly, meal by meal, through simple choices that feel supportive rather than overwhelming. Creating an evening routine that supports you. A supportive evening routine does not begin with strict discipline, complicated schedules, or unrealistic rules, but with one gentle choice a few nights a week, such as preparing a light egg dish, enjoying a simple seafood meal, or choosing a plant-based snack that includes whole grains, healthy fats, and familiar flavors that make you feel comforted rather than deprived. Eating slowly and paying attention to when you feel comfortably full allows your body to settle instead of feeling overloaded, and that sense of physical comfort often carries into your sleep in ways you may not immediately notice, but gradually come to appreciate. Pairing your evening meal with calming habits, such as dimming the lights, turning off screens earlier, playing soft music, or keeping your bedtime roughly the same each night, sends quiet but powerful signals to your nervous system that it is safe to rest, that the day is winding down, and that nothing urgent needs to be solved right now. Over time, people who follow routines like this often describe waking with less heaviness in their minds, feeling more patient with themselves, or experiencing fewer of those anxious moments first thing in the morning, which may sound small, but can completely change how the day begins. These shifts are rarely dramatic, yet they matter deeply because they show that your brain responds to care in the same way the rest of your body does, not through force, but through steady, respectful cooperation. What real change actually feels like. When people imagine improving brain health, they often picture sudden sharpness, flawless recall, or the return of a memory they once had decades ago. But in everyday life, change usually arrives in much quieter ways that are easy to miss unless you slow down and notice them. You might realize that there are fewer frustrating moments when a word feels just out of reach, or that you stayed engaged in a conversation longer than usual without your mind drifting, or that you handled a small problem without the surge of irritation you once felt. You may also notice that you are less anxious about these little lapses because they no longer feel like proof that something is wrong with you, but simply part of being human. These shifts alter not only how your day flows, but also how you see yourself, because confidence grows when you trust your mind again, and that confidence reduces stress, which itself supports clearer thinking and steadier moods. Food does not perform miracles or turn back time, but it shapes how your body functions in ordinary moments, and those ordinary moments are where life actually happens, making gentle nutrition and consistent habits more powerful than any dramatic promise ever could be. Keeping safety and balance in mind. Any new habit deserves thoughtful attention, especially later in life or if you manage chronic conditions, allergies, or digestive sensitivities. Because your body's needs are personal and deserve respect rather than comparison with anyone else's routine. Nothing in this article replaces medical advice, and no food should ever be treated as therapy or a substitute for professional care, because nutrition is only one piece of a much larger system that also includes sleep quality, physical movement, emotional well-being, mental engagement, and social connection, all of which influence how memory and focus feel from day to day. When these elements work together, the mind often feels less fragile, not because it has been fixed or cured, but because it is being supported on many levels at once in a way that feels sustainable. You do not need perfection, complicated plans, or strict rules. You need patience, curiosity, and the willingness to notice how different meals, routines, and environments make you feel. Adjust gently, listen to your body, and allow it to guide you rather than trying to control every outcome. Your brain is still working with you. Aging does not mean surrendering your mind or accepting decline as your identity, because your brain continues adapting every single day to how you live, eat, sleep, and relate to yourself, quietly reshaping its patterns based on the care you give it. Each nourishing meal, each calm evening, and each moment of kindness toward your own limits sends a subtle message to your nervous system that you are worth caring for, and over time, that message becomes a deep sense of confidence that no single supplement or headline could ever provide. You are not fighting age or trying to become someone you used to be. You are partnering with the person you are now, honoring the reality of your life instead of resisting it. Your story is still unfolding, and the memories you create tomorrow are shaped by the choices you make today, even the small ones that feel ordinary or unimportant. Give your brain space, patience, and nourishment, not because it is failing, but because it is still listening, still responding, and still very much on your side.